I'm joined by Wes Rappaport with the Texas Division of Emergency Management. Thank you so much for joining us, Wes. Governor Abbott has ordered 24-hour operations at the Texas State Emergency Operations Center, the SOC. He has it at a level 2. Can you tell us what is level 2 and what are the resources already currently deployed?
Sure. So good to be with you, Daniel. Yeah, the level 2 escalated response means that we are at that heightened awareness level, and that really ensures that all of the agencies that are engaged in the response have that seat at the table, and that we have someone representing each of those agencies in the room, in the building, ensuring that we remain coordinated, that we have good visibility on where those resources are, and that as we need to deploy additional resources or move those resources to other locations, we have streamlined access in order to do that because we have those representatives there with us. So it creates that heightened awareness. And for us, the 24-hour operations means that we've got responders and meteorologists working around the clock to ensure that Texans stay safe. We also need Texans to do their part through the duration of this weather event as well.
And we've seen some areas already hit really hard, kind of south to west of the San Antonio area. Tell us about the resources that were put in place ahead of time. What resources do they have right now? What's on the ground?
Yeah, so over the weekend, the governor directed the Texas Division of Emergency Management to deploy those state emergency response resources across the state and focus on those areas of concern. And the resources include helicopters from the Texas National Guard with ability to hoist during flood rescues. We have swift water boats and urban search and rescue teams deployed to ensure that they're able to assist during flood rescues as well. Of course, troopers and game wardens and personnel from the TxDOT who are out monitoring road conditions. So there's that public safety component, there's the road safety component, and TDEM personnel also remain engaged, embedded with county officials and other local officials to ensure that they have resources that they need and any unmet needs that they have can be quickly addressed. So that's really a summary of what a lot of the state resources that are out there. Should there be a need to deploy additional resources, we have additional resources on standby and ready to be engaged if they're needed. But the big picture here is that the state of Texas has done our part to prepare and has already engaged in support of local response operations. We need Texans to do their part and local officials to do their part as well.
The governor has already issued a disaster declaration for 59 Texas counties right now. We've reported before that this frees up resources for those counties. What exactly does that entail specifically?
Yeah, so it helps ensure that any procurement processes that may be in the way of helping protect life and property are able to be temporarily waived. But it also ultimately ensures that those communities know that there's a heightened level of awareness here and that those communities are being flagged as being in that area of concern or facing impacts or have the potential to face impacts. And so we want to make sure that the public is paying attention, that if your county is in one of those areas that's included in the governor's disaster declaration, that we are watching, and we want to make sure that you are watching as well, so that should conditions change, because we know conditions can change on a dime, that you're ready to act and that you're ready to implement those measures that are set forth by local officials.
And of course, you've just marked a year since last year's devastating July 4th floods. What, if anything, has changed on the state's end when it comes to preparing for or responding to potentially deadly weather events?
You know, every disaster is a little bit different, and but what's really important is that everybody has a responsibility and a role during an incident, and that the state of Texas, we've done our part to mobilize resources. We have 24-hour operations in the State Operations Center, and the governor's issued a disaster declaration emphasizing the importance of this response. Local officials need to do their part as well, and pay close attention to the forecast and take action to protect their citizens and their constituents. We also need Texans to do their part. Monitor that local forecast in the neighborhood and community where you live. Tune in to trusted weather sources and make sure that you have an emergency plan in place for yourself, your family, your loved ones. Pack an emergency supply kit. Make sure you've got that first aid kit and those extra batteries and chargers, and a blanket or change of clothes, couple changes of clothes, some food and water and those kinds of things, and be ready to take action when local officials issue any kind of directive.
And you've touched on this. Anytime we have a weather event like this, the big message always is for everyone to stay informed. How can people keep up with updates from the state?
Yeah, so we are posting regular updates on our social media platforms through the Texas Division of Emergency Management. We also have all hazards preparedness tips on our website at tdem.texas.gov. Texans can, of course, check road conditions at drivetexas.org, and that has real-time road conditions. And then flood safety information can certainly be found online at texasready.gov as well. So a huge complement of resources that are available for folks to access that information, but make sure that you have a way to communicate with your local Office of Emergency Management as well. Make sure you're signed up for any local alerts that may be issued through programs like Warn Central Texas. And ultimately, you said it, stay informed. It's so critical that Texans pay attention because conditions can change so quickly.
Right, Wes Rappaport with the Texas Division of Emergency Management. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.